So this is Babu Vedasto Izoba. Thank you so much. I'm so happy that you approached us and were like, come on and what can we teach and what can we put together, right? And I'm so excited for the students to get to know you, right? And to know all about ecology.
Yeah.
So family, I've written down some questions because that's how I be. First is, do you have like a favorite animal story, right?
Yes, I do.
Can you tell us?
Of course, I've been doing ecology, teaching ecology for the past 30 years. That's a lot to accumulate, a lot of and you get to love everything. But today you want my favorite.
Your favorite one, or one of your favorites.
I hope you will not be disappointed because it's not my favorite animal. My favorite organism is an insect. Yeah. Well, in general context, insects are animals too. And my favorite insect is a termite.
Tell me about the termite.
A termite. These termites, you see the mounds in the grassland, they're spaced at different intervals. Inside the termite, there is a queen, there is a king, there are workers, there are soldiers, there are even nurses. Nurses.
I didn't know there were nurses. Okay.
There are nymphs, those guys who come straight from the eggs to nymphs, and then they are waiting either to become a soldier or to become a worker or a builder or a forager. So it is such an amazing organization, especially when you are talking of insects. So that's my favorite animal. But again, it has been so favorite that typically when you start a safari from Arusha, as soon as you go outside the city, you start seeing the termites. So it's possible to park your car alongside the road, tell your tourists to come out of the car and walk like a few 20 steps, like 3 or 4 meters in the grassland, and you tell them,
here are the termites.
We call it the underground society, or the royal family, because there is a king, there is a queen there. It's so amazing, and it starts the day on a high note. Because these people are so anxious to go outside to start seeing nature. So the sooner they start seeing that, the better. When you get into the park, most of the time it's not allowed to go and walk around the park. It's dangerous. But before you get into the park, you can do that. And I already identified several topics which a guide can talk before he enters the park. Like you see a tree full of nests, you can talk about design with nature. You can see the thorns, like the whistling thorns, acacia. You talk about symbiosis and all those kind of things. So once now you are ready to get into the park and look at the big animals and whatever, you have already made their day. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
The termite has been such a favorite animal for me. Even when I started the college in 1994, 95 it was registered, my certificates used to have a termite mound. You can imagine. I was but now I've changed now, but I still remember.
Family, when you hear Babu talk about the certificates at his school, about training guides, right? That is because he has founded the premier safari guide school here in Tanzania, right? And when you hear safari guide, we think tour guide in America. It's not what you have done, right? We think sort of like somebody that just sort of points at things, right? But Babu is really training young people to be naturalists, to be ecologists, right? To know all of these things, and he is willing to share that wisdom with your children, right? So that they can be ecologists and naturalists and conservationists, right? So they can understand how all of these pieces work together, right? And our place, our
makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. When you are studying nature and looking at the animals, looking at the plants, looking at the insects, looking at the weather, the rains, the sunshines, and all those, they make a pattern. They make a certain pattern. And because we are living on this planet, it's very important for us to know the patterns of nature which keeps the living things going. And the earlier you start learning about that, the better. Yeah, the earlier the better.
So that brings me to another one of my questions about sort of what sorts of things do you hope that your students learn in this course? Like, what do you hope they come away from? You know, what sort of patterns, what sort of knowledge, what kind of appreciation for nature do you hope they have when the course ends?
Yeah, when you get to look at the animals, first you are looking at lifestyles.
Okay.
So the most important thing here is to what kind of a lifestyle am I looking at now? And then you get an opportunity to understand that lifestyle and to compare it with your own lifestyle. You will see the resemblance. You will see the connection. And that takes you a long way. It can even stay in your mind forever.
So we can learn about how to build our communities.
Yes,
based on
absolutely.
how termites build their communities.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And what changes we might want to make in our relationships based on how animals relate to each other. That's one of the things to me, family, that's so that's just so important about this, right? So important about
it is.
This note. Let's see what other questions I wrote down. Let's see. So you talked about looking at the relationships, right? You talked about looking at the sort of interconnectedness, right?
Yes.
What else is ecology to you? Like when we talk about teaching ecology, some folks, like, what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? Ecology.
Ecology is actually, academically, ecology is a study of life. Eco is life, and ology, of course, is study. So you are studying life, and you are a living organism. So it's very important to study who actually you are.
That's right.
Who actually you are. So it's, and that's why we say we came from there. We came from there. And then slowly we put ourselves into civilization. And now we look back, either we don't understand the mechanisms which are going on in the wilderness, but finding somebody who can open your eyes, it makes a big rewarding. Like, oh, so this has sense. And that's an insect. This is just a plant. That's just a buffalo. But you learn, you see a good father, you see a good mother, you see the inborn instincts of these animals. It's endless.
So that it becomes not just a plant.
It's not just a plant. It's not just an insect. It's more than an insect. You are learning from it. And sometimes you blame yourself. What am I doing differently? Because that's good. Yeah. It's very easy. The easiest subject is ecology.
What makes it so easy?
Because you are studying yourself.
So you're motivated.
Yeah, you are motivated. Like studying physics and chemistry. Yeah. People like you in geometry.
So Bible says that students that is approachable, right? Where sometimes science can be intimidating. This is an approachable and easy entrance into the science. It's because I'm looking at myself. And of course I want to learn about myself, right? And of course I want to understand myself and my place in the world more than I do.
And the good things which you can adapt from the wilderness, and then you apply them right away. And I tell my students, it's of course very interesting to tell the lifestyle of an elephant to a tourist, the matriarch, because when we look at the elephant, the leader is the oldest female. Then we call it the matriarch. And you see the responsibilities of the matriarch. You see the young ones, how they are participating in maintaining the group. You see the bulls. They grow up and they are chased away from the group. All those kind of things, you see them. There is a question of the issue of avoiding mother's shadow. I always talk about avoiding mother's shadow. A tree like that one, the fruits are not supposed to drop on the shadow of this mother tree.
They won't have space.
Yeah, there won't be enough light, there won't be enough space. So there is a strategy for this tree here to transport the seed to another place where it could be a certain space, and then the tree, the offspring of this tree will have a better chance of growing up. You look at that, you see it in animals, you see it in people. Sometimes we don't understand it, but when you are looking at it with a good example from nature, you have no way. You have to accept it and love it.
So when I'm thinking about, my own children, right? And I think about Ayo, who y'all know,
Yeah.
who is 17, and as she is looking to go away,
Yes.
right, and is very interested in going to make a life someplace else.
Yeah.
That example is there in nature. That she has to
Absolutely.
get out of the shadow to then make her
Yeah.
own way.
It's even in the insects, even in the termites.
Tell me.
Yeah, there comes a time the queen now sends a message to the nursery chambers where there are nymphs, and most of the nymphs turn into
With wings.
yeah, they sprout wings and they fly out. They get married there. They start a new colony. So you should look forward for a new colony from Ohio.
That's right.
And that's very satisfying.
That's fantastic.
That's fantastic.
That's fantastic.
Very satisfying. Yeah.
So it gives the children larger view how to see themselves in the world,
Yeah.
and even the families a way to see our families in our community through a different lens,
Yeah.
through a more natural lens.
Yes.
I'm excited. I'm
Yeah.
excited to. I'll be assisting Babu just to give technical support and that sort of thing in the class. And y'all, I'm actually because I'll be taking the class too. I'm excited to support you, but also to learn and to hear all these stories as well.
Good. Good.
Let's see what else I put on my list. Okay, so how did you come to it? To come to ecology, to say, I'm going to study this, I want to know these things.
First, I never knew about ecology. And that's why I think this subject should start early, in the early stages of a person. Because it will help a great deal. I started studying ecology when I decided to become a tour guide. Formerly, I was a banker. Right after school, I joined the bank. Why? Because my brother was a banker. And I was looking at my brother. Oh, look at my brother. He's a banker. Maybe I should be a banker too. And I found myself in the bank. But it was so terrible. Counting money day in, day out. And then I thought I should get better satisfaction from a different job. Many friends of mine, especially those from outside the country, they said, oh, you should join tourism. So I went through a long process and became a freelance tour guide. And then I was like, what do I tell these people? There is a lion in front of me. What do I say? So I started searching around and I found these animal behavior books, and there is a book called The Pyramids of Life. That's a perfect Bible for wilderness. Yeah. And I was taking material, I was studying day and night. And then it's easy because you read something and then tomorrow you see it. Yeah. Yeah. So it was much easier for me to understand these lifestyles of animals. And it's just endless. But again, there are wildlife documentaries. Yeah, there are wildlife documentaries. And what you get to study is supported by a documentary. Like there is a documentary for termites. It's called The Castles of Clay.
Castles of Clay.
Yeah, I think it was produced in 1970s. It's an old documentary, but it's still going strong. Yeah. So you could see the queen, you could see the king, you could see the soldiers, you could look in the nursery chambers, and you see. And when you look in the nursery chambers, you see like a kindergarten school here. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like you are looking at the kindergarten school. All those kids in the kindergarten schools, they don't know who they will become. Some will become nurses, some will become soldiers, some will become teachers like myself, and all those kind of things. And you see it. So the wildlife documentaries are a very important part in studying nature.
And you'll be using those as part of the course,
Absolutely.
right? So that students will be able to look
I have
at
a
them
lot
in
of video
chunks.
clips, I have a lot of photographs, thousands of photographs. There is nothing we can talk about without me having a photograph which corresponded to that, or a video clip which corresponded to that.
That's so good.
Yeah.
And so students will have a similar opportunity that you did when you were studying, and then you could just go and see it, right? A little bit away from the city. They'll study it, and you will be able to show them all of the sort of clips and photographs that you've collected.
Yes,
and so they'll have that similar ease of understanding that you had when you were studying. So I keep saying that I'm excited. It's because I'm so very excited.
Me too.
Let's see. I'm looking to see what other sorts of questions I have on this. We talked a bit, and I want to know we talked about learning from nature, right?
Yes.
what are some really important lessons that you've learned from nature? Like, so all this information, all these stories that you have about the plants and the animals and the insects, right? How have you? So I just learned one, a way to look at it, to way I was going away, which I can feel sad about, right?
Okay.
I just learned another way of looking at it from you in terms of like getting out from under our shadow, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
What are some really significant ones in your life, the ways that you've learned from nature that you use in terms of your knowledge of ecology?
First, looking at it from the tour guide's point of view, when you understand ecology and you have tourists or passengers in the natural area, when you talk, they listen. So you have a lot of attention from your audience, a lot of attention. It's like getting into a huge theater of soccer and you are giving a commentary and everybody is anxious to hear who is this scoring a goal, who is this, those kind of things. So it's such an exciting environment.
Okay.
And again, the listeners also get the better perspective of what they are or what they are looking at. But again, you as a person, you change because now you start looking at your own lifestyle in a natural and ecological perspective. Yeah, there are things which you couldn't have understood. Now you understand them because you have seen them happening in nature, and you know what they mean. And you look at yourself, and then you go away with a good lesson for your life.
So tell us one of those things.
So
something
you become a better person.
Yeah, tell us one of the things, something that you didn't understand and then came to understand through the study of ecology.
Like
about
people,
your family or
like the family. Some people don't understand the issue of avoiding mother's shadow. Let's say, yeah. And now you look at the animals, you look at the plants, you look at the insects, you look at everything. A baby grows up, he reaches a stage, he has to go. He has to go. So if you are so attracted to your son, or you are so connected to your daughter, when the time for her to go away comes, you will suffer. And sometimes you don't want to let go. But here there is a lesson teaching you that it's okay.
And it's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, she has to go and start her own life. There are boys who are grown up in a family, and they think they have a right to stay there. Like forcibly, this is my father's house, so it's my house. But nature tells you that no, it's not your house, it's your father's house. You should go outside there and make your own house. I have a son who completed secondary school 3 years ago. He joined my college and he studied for a few months. Now he's working. Now he has got a girlfriend, and it's now time I tell kid, hey, you need to go and now you are living in my house. And he's like, no, you know this because you studied in my class. You know, avoiding mother's shadow. I'm not being cruel to you, but you need
space to grow.
You need space to grow. This is my house. If I have a car, it's my car. You need to go outside there. And if you see a hyena running away with a piece of meat, it's not taking it to its father. No. If you see a wild dog regurgitating, it can be regurgitating to the puppies. But once the puppies are grown up, it's time to go. No more regurgitation here. Just go and look for your own food. So animals get to pass through difficult times. It's like a transition period from the family group. You pass a certain period of time here, and then you become now mature, ready to. So we have two maturities. There is the sexual maturity, which comes early, but there is the social maturity, which now you are ready to maintain a family. You might be sexually mature, but we don't give you a time to make babies yet. No, don't start making babies here. Pass through this, try your time, like nomadic, you become nomadic, and then there'll come a time now you are socially mature, now you can be able to
You
take.
can be responsible.
It applies everywhere, but it's even more touching when you learn it from an animal or an insect. Yeah. So by studying ecology by itself, you become richer and richer day by day.